Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into something a lot of you have been asking about, sounding more fluent in English.
Yeah.
It's not about like textbook grammar rules.
Right.
It's more like that natural flow that you hear native speakers use.
Yeah, it's like the difference between, reading lines from a script and actually becoming the character.
Oh, I like that.
You're really owning the language,
Yeah.
making it like a natural extension of how you think.
Okay, so we found this source that claims you can boost your fluency by focusing on just 33 words.
33 words.
Yeah. But these aren't just any random words. These are words that
Right.
advanced English speakers use all the time to make their ideas connect really smoothly and to express themselves more powerfully and just sound really natural.
So it's not about like memorizing the entire dictionary.
Right.
It's about picking out these key words that'll make a big impact.
Yeah, exactly. Like a minimalist wardrobe, with those essential pieces that you
Yeah.
can mix and match for any occasion.
I like that.
So we're talking about things like linking words, powerful verbs, nuanced adjectives, and even some of those tricky word pairs that people get mixed up and those cool, natural phrases that native speakers throw around.
Yeah, those idiomatic expressions.
Yeah.
Those are really fun.
Those are really fun, and they can be a little hard to grasp sometimes, but we'll break it down.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump right in with these linking words.
Okay.
This source makes the point that these words are like the glue that holds your sentences together and makes your speech sound more sophisticated.
It helps you move beyond just simple sentences.
Yes.
And show that you can connect more complex ideas.
Right. It's like instead of sounding like you're reading a shopping list, you're crafting a story.
Exactly.
Or you're building an argument.
Yeah. So what are some of these linking words?
Well, the first one is however,
Okay.
which is great for introducing a contrasting idea.
Okay.
So like, I love pizza, however, I'm trying to eat healthier. It just creates that natural shift in your thought.
It's subtle, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
If you just said, I love pizza, I'm trying to eat healthier,
Right.
it would sound kind of jarring.
Right. Yes.
Like two separate thoughts instead of one connected idea.
Exactly. Okay, then we have therefore, which is all about cause and effect.
Okay.
He missed his flight, therefore he was late to the meeting.
Right.
Boom. You made that connection.
It shows you can connect cause and effect.
Exactly.
You understand how these ideas relate to each other.
It makes you sound smart.
Yeah, you're not just stating facts, but you're reasoning.
Yes. Besides is another good one. I don't want to go out tonight. Besides, I have a lot of work to do.
Okay.
It's like that extra emphasis.
Yeah, it's like, and another thing.
Yes. Like you're giving a bonus reason.
Yeah.
Okay, now, meanwhile, which is perfect for showing two things are happening at the same time.
Okay.
The storm raged outside. Meanwhile, we were cozy by the fire.
Ooh, I like that.
Paints a picture.
Yeah, it adds a sense of like dynamism. Like you're creating a little movie in the listener's mind.
Okay, and the last linking word in this section is thus.
Thus.
It might sound a little formal, but it adds that finality to your statement.
Okay.
So she practiced every day, thus she won the competition.
It's like this was the natural conclusion.
Yes.
Like it was inevitable.
Right. Okay, so we've got our sentences flowing smoothly now with those linking words.
Yeah.
Now let's amp up the impact with some powerful verbs.
Verbs. Yes. They're the engine of our sentences.
They
They
are.
drive the action. They give us that energy and movement.
And the source says that by using strong and specific verbs, you can make your communication more memorable.
It's the difference between, a hazy sketch and a vibrant painting.
Ooh, I like that.
Specific verbs just bring your ideas to life.
So the first verb they highlight is enhance,
Okay.
which means to improve something,
Right.
but it goes beyond just basic improvement.
It does.
This new software will enhance your productivity.
Enhance has that feeling of taking something good and making it even better.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Adding a layer of refinement.
Like leveling up.
Yes, exactly.
Huh.
And it's much more compelling than just saying improve.
Yeah. Okay. Next we have acknowledge. He acknowledged his mistake and apologized. It sounds more mature
More formal.
than just saying he admitted he was wrong.
Yeah. Acknowledge implies a sense of ownership.
Yeah.
Like you're really taking responsibility.
That's a good one. Okay, and then we have pursue, which suggests a really determined effort to reach a goal.
Okay.
She decided to pursue a career in music.
Not just dabbling.
Yeah.
Really going for it.
Yes, and then there's implement, which is putting plans into action.
Okay.
The company implemented a new strategy to increase sales.
So it's about taking action.
Yeah.
Making things happen.
Yes. And last but not least for this category is emphasize,
Okay.
which is like shining a spotlight on something important. The teacher emphasized the importance of critical thinking.
It gives weight to what you're saying.
Right. You're not just mentioning it in passing.
Exactly. You're making sure it sticks.
Okay. So we've connected our ideas smoothly. We've added those power verbs.
Yeah.
Now it's time to add some color and depth with carefully chosen adjectives.
Oh, adjectives. I love adjectives.
Me too. They're fun.
Yeah, they can totally transform the feeling and the imagery.
It's like adding filters to your photos.
Yes. You can make something brighter, bolder, or more dramatic.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so this source picked out some really nuanced adjectives that we're going to go through.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so first up is compelling.
Compelling.
She presented a compelling argument that changed everyone's minds.
Compelling is so strong.
Yeah.
It suggests something that you can't ignore.
Right.
It draws you in.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
It's powerful.
It is.
Okay, next we have ambiguous.
Ambiguous.
This one's a little tricky.
Okay.
The ending of the movie was ambiguous, leaving the audience to draw their own conclusions.
You know, ambiguity can be frustrating
It's
sometimes,
true.
but it can also be really powerful.
Right. Like in a story, it creates a sense of mystery,
Yeah.
keeps you guessing.
And in real life, things aren't always black and white.
Exactly.
There's a lot of gray area.
And being comfortable with that,
Yeah.
that's a sign of a sophisticated thinker.
I like that. Okay, so now for substantial, which implies something solid and significant. There's substantial evidence to support this theory.
Like it's grounded.
Yes.
It's not just a guess.
It's not a hunch.
Right.
It's like, don't just take my word for it.
Exactly.
Here are the facts.
I like that.
Okay, next up, we have inevitable, which implies a sense of certainty or destiny.
Okay.
Technological advancements are inevitable in the modern world.
It's like saying this is going to happen no matter what. It's bound to happen.
Makes me think about that saying death and taxes are the only certainties in life.
Right.
But now we can add technological advancements to that list.
Pretty safe bet, I think.
Okay, and finally, for this category, we have plausible.
Which means something seems reasonable, but not necessarily true.
Yeah.
His explanation sounded plausible, but I still had my doubts.
So you're not fully convinced,
Not yet.
but it's possible.
Yeah, it could be true.
It's like you need more information.
Yes, exactly. Okay, now this next section, I know a lot of people struggle with.
Oh, really?
Commonly misused words.
Oh, yes.
These are the words that can trip up.
Yeah, even native speakers.
Even native speakers, right?
They can be tricky.
So this source focuses on a few pairs
Okay.
that are notoriously difficult.
Right.
First up, affect versus effect.
Okay, the classic effect is usually a verb.
Right.
Meaning to influence or impact something.
Okay.
The weather will affect our travel plans.
An effect is usually a noun.
Right.
Meaning the result or the consequence of something.
The effect of the storm was devastating.
Oh, okay. So far, so good.
Now, of course, English wouldn't be English without a few exceptions.
Right.
Effect can sometimes be a verb, meaning to bring about or to cause.
Okay. But for everyday conversations, remembering that basic distinction is going to be really helpful.
Okay, good tip. Okay, next up we have compliment versus compliment.
Okay, compliment is an expression of praise or admiration.
Okay.
I complimented her on her excellent presentation.
And compliment means to complete or enhance something.
Ah, so they work well together.
Yes.
They create a harmonious whole.
The wine perfectly complemented the meal.
Ah, there you go.
Okay, now for the distance dilemma.
Oh.
Farther versus further. Farther is for physical distance.
I ran farther than I did yesterday.
And further is for metaphorical distance or advancement.
Okay.
We need to discuss this further.
It can also mean additional or more. Like, I have no further questions.
Okay, this next pair even I get mixed up sometimes.
Oh.
Imply versus infer.
Imply means to suggest something indirectly.
Okay.
She implied that she was unhappy in her job.
Okay, so she didn't say it directly.
Exactly.
But you could kind of read between the lines. Yes. And infer means to draw a conclusion based on what someone said or did.
Okay.
I inferred from her tone that she was upset.
Okay, so the speaker implies and the listener infers.
You got it.
Okay, I think I've got that one now. Okay, last one in this tricky word pair category.
Okay.
Principal versus principal.
Principal is the head of a school.
Right.
the principal called a meeting with the teachers.
And principle refers to a fundamental truth or belief. He lives by a strong set of moral principles.
And a good way to remember is that principle ends in lay.
Okay.
Just like rule.
Ah, that makes sense.
Which also has to do with, guidelines and standards.
You know, one of the things I love most about learning English is discovering those cool phrases that native speakers use.
Those idiomatic expressions,
Yeah.
they're like little windows into the culture.
They are?
They add color and humor and personality.
Yeah, and the source calls them natural-sounding phrases.
Okay.
I'm excited to dive in and see what they've found.
Me too.
Let's do it.
What?
Okay, first up, we have out of the blue, which means something happens unexpectedly or without warning.
Oh, okay.
She called me out of the blue after all these years.
Yeah, it's a great way to describe something surprising.
Yeah.
It's like a clear sky, and then suddenly there's a bolt of lightning.
Boom, out of the blue.
Exactly.
Then we have hit the nail on the head, which means to say or do something perfectly.
Okay.
You hit the nail on the head with that analysis.
You got it exactly right.
Right.
Like you targeted the truth.
Okay, next we have break the ice, which is all about easing tension or awkwardness.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
He told a joke to break the ice at the party.
It's like that first crack in a frozen lake.
Yeah.
It opens up the possibility for connection.
Okay, and then there's the classic think outside the box, which means to be creative and come up with those unconventional solutions.
Challenge those assumptions.
Yes.
Break free from those limitations.
We need to think outside the box to solve this problem.
I like it.
And last but not least for this category, we have a blessing in disguise.
Oh, yeah.
It's about something that seems bad at first, but turns out to be beneficial in the end. Losing my job was a blessing in disguise because it forced me to pursue my true passion.
So a setback leads to a new opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. I feel like my vocabulary is expanding.
Me too. But we're not done yet.
I know, I'm excited.
The source argues that by using advanced nouns,
Yes.
you can demonstrate a deeper understanding, and you sound more articulate.
It's like leveling up your communication skills.
Exactly.
So which advanced nouns do they recommend?
Well, the first one is dilemma,
Okay.
which is that difficult choice between two or more options.
Ah.
And none of the options are that great.
Right.
I'm facing a dilemma about whether to stay in my current job or take this new opportunity.
It's more than just a simple problem.
It is.
Yeah,
It
but-
requires really careful consideration.
Next up, we have perspective,
Perspective.
which refers to a particular way of viewing things. From his perspective, the decision made perfect sense.
It acknowledges that different people
Yeah.
can see the same situation in different ways
Totally.
because they have different backgrounds and experiences.
Right. Then there's momentum,
Momentum.
which suggests a forward movement or a gathering force.
Like things are picking up speed.
The project gained momentum after the initial success.
It becomes harder to stop or change direction.
Okay, repercussions is a weighty one.
Yes, it is.
It refers to those consequences
Right.
or after effects of an action or event. Her actions had serious repercussions for the entire team.
So it highlights how everything's interconnected.
Yeah.
One action can have ripple effects.
And finally, we have consensus,
Consensus.
which means general agreement among a group.
So you come to a shared understanding.
After much debate, the team finally reached a consensus.
Everyone's on board.
Yeah, wow, we've really gone deep on these words. It's amazing how much nuance and power they have.
Language is fascinating, isn't it?
It really is.
The more you explore it, the more you realize there's always more to learn.
You know, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yes.
I'm curious what's resonating with our listeners.
Yeah, what's standing out to you? Are there any words or phrases that you're excited to try out in your own conversations?
Or maybe there's a word pair you've finally conquered.
Yeah, after years of confusion.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so, we were just talking about those commonly misused words.
Oh, yeah.
Those tricky pairs.
Yeah, like effect and all that.
Exactly. But mastering those is really key to clear communication.
Because if you use the wrong word, people might misunderstand what you're trying to say.
That's right.
Okay, so let's jump back in with these natural-sounding phrases,
Ah, yes.
which the source describes as giving your language that kind of conversational flair.
It's like adding those little spices
Oh,
to your language.
I like that.
Brings out the flavor. Yeah, gives it more personality.
Exactly.
Okay, so first up, we have out of the blue,
Out of the blue.
which means something happens unexpectedly or without warning.
Okay.
She called me out of the blue after all these years.
It's like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
Then we have hit the nail on the head,
Hit the nail on the head. I like that one.
which means to say or do something perfectly. You hit the nail on the head with that analysis.
You got it exactly right.
Yes. Okay, next there's break the ice,
Break the ice.
which is a phrase we use to talk about easing tension or awkwardness.
Often in social situations.
Yes.
Right.
He told a joke to break the ice at the party.
You know, that's a good way to get the conversation flowing.
Yeah, to make people feel more comfortable.
Exactly.
Okay, and then we have another classic, think outside the box.
Think outside the box. That's a good one.
This means to be creative
Mm.
and come up with those unconventional solutions.
Yeah. Challenge those assumptions.
Break free from limitations.
We need to think outside the box to solve this problem.
Yeah, that's often when the best solutions emerge.
Yeah, when you can get a little creative.
Exactly.
Okay, and the last one in this category, a blessing in disguise.
A blessing in disguise. Oh, I like that one.
So it's about something that seems bad at first, but then turns out to have a good outcome.
Okay.
So like losing my job was a blessing in disguise because it forced me to pursue my true passion.
Ah, so it pushed you in a new direction.
Yeah, and sometimes those unexpected changes can lead to something even better.
It's like when one door closes, another one opens.
Exactly. Okay, now this next section is all about using advanced nouns.
Okay.
So this source argues that using these more sophisticated nouns shows a deeper understanding of concepts, and it can make you sound more articulate.
It's like you're adding more tools to your toolbox.
I like that analogy.
Right.
Yeah, you've got more options to choose from.
More precision.
So the first noun they recommend is dilemma,
Dilemma.
which is a difficult situation or problem.
Right, where you have to make a choice.
But there's no easy answer.
Often between two or more options.
Yeah, and all of the options have downsides.
Right. It's a tough one.
I'm facing a dilemma about whether to stay in my current job or take this new opportunity.
Classic dilemma.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, next up, we have perspective.
Perspective.
Which refers to a particular way of viewing things. From his perspective, the decision made perfect sense.
So acknowledging that different people can see things differently.
Based on their own experiences and beliefs.
Right. It's a way of understanding where someone's coming from.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
And then there's momentum,
Momentum.
which suggests forward movement or gathering force.
Like things are gaining speed.
The project gained momentum after the initial success.
It's like it's unstoppable.
Yeah, or at least harder to stop.
Exactly.
Okay, next we have repercussions.
Repercussions.
Which refers to the consequences of something. Her actions had serious repercussions for the entire team.
So it highlights those unintended consequences.
Yeah, you do something and then there's a ripple effect.
Exactly. Things happen as a result.
Okay, and finally for this category we have consensus.
Consensus.
Which means a general agreement among a group of people.
Everyone agrees.
Yeah, after much debate, the team finally reached a consensus.
It suggests that compromise was involved.
Right.
Different viewpoints were considered.
And everyone came to an agreement.
Exactly.
Wow, we've really gone deep on these words.
We have.
I'm loving this.
It's amazing how much nuance and power they have.
Yeah, and I feel like we've just scratched the surface.
That's true.
There's so much more to explore.
Language is a journey.
It is.
It never really ends.
That's what makes it so fascinating.
Exactly.
As we're getting close to the end of our deep dive, I'm wondering what our listeners are thinking.
Me too. What are your takeaways?
Yeah. Are there any words you're particularly excited to start using?
Or maybe some phrases that have sparked your curiosity?
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
As we've been talking about these 33 words, it's made me realize that it's not just about, sounding smarter or anything. It's about expressing yourself clearly.
Exactly. It's like having the right tools for the job.
So you can really get your message across.
And that precision can make a big difference in how people understand you.
Yeah. Whether you're giving a presentation or having a serious conversation with someone.
Even writing an email.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I really appreciate about this source is that it doesn't just give us this list of words and say good luck.
Yeah.
It actually provides some really helpful tips on how to actually use these words.
Practical advice.
Yes. So for our listeners who are ready to, take that next step, what kind of practice strategies does this source recommend?
Well, one of the simplest but most effective ways is to just practice in context. Don't just try to memorize definitions.
Right.
Use the words in real conversations.
Yeah, in everyday life.
Write emails.
Even social media posts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like learning to cook.
Okay.
You can read recipes all day long.
Yeah.
But until you get in the kitchen and actually start cooking,
Right.
you're not going to really master it.
So you have to experiment.
Exactly.
The source also mentions the shadowing technique.
Shadowing.
Can you explain what that is?
So shadowing involves listening to a native speaker
Okay.
and repeating what they say,
Oh, okay.
mimicking their pronunciation,
Yeah.
their rhythm, their intonation.
So you're basically copying them.
Yes, you're shadowing their speech patterns.
And the force says this can really help you develop a more natural sounding accent.
Exactly. It trains your ear and your vocal muscles.
Okay. The source also recommends writing short paragraphs using these words every day.
Yeah, writing is such a powerful tool.
It is.
It makes you think carefully about each word you choose, about grammar, sentence structure.
Yeah, and you can go at your own pace.
Exactly. There's no pressure of having to speak in real time.
They also suggest recording yourself speaking,
Ah, yes.
which can be a little awkward.
It can be, but it's so valuable.
Yeah.
You can hear yourself.
And identify those areas where you need to improve.
Like maybe you're using too many filler words.
All right.
Or your intonation is a little flat.
And then finally, the source emphasizes the importance of engaging in discussions.
Conversations.
Yes.
That's where you can really put everything into practice.
Yeah.
Try out those new words.
Yeah.
Get feedback.
And what I love about conversations is that they're unpredictable.
Yeah.
You don't know what words you're going to need.
Right.
It's a challenge,
Yeah.
but it's also a great opportunity to learn.
It's like improv. You know,
Oh, I like that.
they have to be ready for anything.
You know, as we're wrapping up this deep dive, I'm realizing that these 33 words are really just a starting point.
Yeah.
It's like opening a door.
It's a whole new world.
Exactly, of language and fluency and expression.
And there's always more to learn.
There is.
New words, new expressions.
So for our listeners out there,
Yes.
don't be afraid to, experiment,
And have fun with it.
make mistakes.
Right. Embrace the journey.
Because the more you invest in your language skills, the more opportunities will open up for you.
Absolutely. Both personally and professionally.
Well, that's it for this deep dive into the power of 33 words for fluent English.
It's been a pleasure
It has been.
exploring these words with you.
And as always, thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Until next time,
Keep learning.
keep exploring.
Keep the conversation going.